All right, better late than never, and I am late. Here is a vocal video for the very, getting it in just under the wire at the very end of this week. It is yet another exercise from Patsy Rdnbrgh, speech coach who's worked with like Shakespeare companies, very kind of actory. And some of these exercises are very actorly in their way, but also it's good because you're acting out, you're trying to live your words, you're trying to kind of put that kind of a actually vitality in your speech. Hopefully, it's sincerely some kind of a truth, as much as an actor on stage isn't lying to you as much as they're trying to conjure up a kind of a reality and invest their own emotions into the words and maybe let the words kind of take control of them to create kind of this actuality, whatever fiction is that makes it not just like, well, this is all lies. It's like, no, this is kind of a truth. It's just a made up truth, or it's a fictional truth. It's a theater of the emotions, of the mind, of the body, all of that. So this one is called the physical release of text 1. So your body and your breath will become more organically connected to text if you physically play with and link speaking to motion. Movement releases what we need to say. So in this exercise, walk, run, sit, stand, lie, jump, skip, throw balls, push carts, swing. All this will help if you do it as you speak, but try to find the movement that best suits the text you are speaking. If you throw a ball as you speak, the energy of throwing something away from you will help you release the words more efficiently. It also makes the process less self-conscious. Then try speaking the same text as you pulling something into you, like a pillow or a cushion. Very different kind of energy. Speaking energy will be experienced. Emotionally and intellectually, you will also feel different. The throw releases the word. The pulling back tends to deny or muffle it. So I have props. I have The Self-Unseeing by Thomas Hardy, a very short text, but one I will try. I don't know how I'm going to throw a ball while I am speaking a text, but I will try it. The Self-Unseeing. Here is the ancient floor, foot-worn and hollow and thin. Here was the former door, where the dead feet walked in. She sat here in the chair, smiling into the fire. He who played stood there, bowing it higher and higher. Childlike, I danced like in a dream. Blessings emblazoned the day. Everything glowed with a gleam. Yet we were looking away. That is The Self-Unseeing. So that is it with the ball throw. Now, got the pillow. We'll pull the pillow into myself. The self-unseeing. Here is the ancient floor, foot-worn and hollow and thin. Here was the former door, where the dead feet walked in. She sat here in her chair, smiling into the fire. He who stood there, bowing it higher and higher. Childlike, I danced in a dream. Blessings emblazoned the day. Yet everything glowed with a gleam. Yet we were looking away. And that is The Self-Unseeing, the pillow version of the song. Then they have a thing about doing it in groups. Do the same exercise in couples or as a group. The pull back can also be achieved with a rope held taut between the two speakers, engaging in a give and take of tug of war. Also see antithesis above. The rope must not go slack as either partner or group speaks. You will find the physical exertion and tension will enter the word and give it new life and muscularity as the energy is expended. You will also notice a greater need for the word because you are suddenly engaged in contest of strength and will. I can't do this, but I get the idea, I guess. I don't physically get the idea. Another wonderful exercise for heightening text speaking, particularly verse, is to speak while pushing something relatively substantial. As you push, you could feel a powerful connection to the breath and body. Push against the wall and speak. Feel how the words enter the wall along with your strength. So, unfortunately, sorry, I'm picking up stuff as I do it. I think the wall is, I'm slightly on camera. Okay. The self unseeing here is the ancient floor, foot-worn and hollow and thin. Here was the former door. She, where the dead feet walked in. This is a little bit thing. She sat here in her chair, smiling into the fire. He who played it stood there, bowing it higher and higher. Takes my breath out. Childlike, I danced in a dream. Blessings emblazoned that day. Everything glowed with a gleam. Yet we were looking away. That's the pushing version. Okay. Yeah, you will gain a similar connection vitality through a word by holding a chair above your head and speaking. Don't be timid. Hold the chair as though you were about to hurl it at your favorite target. This allows you to experience how much weight certain words carry. Which one of my bags? That's a good. I got a good heavy bag here. This is gonna work out all the muscles. Okay. The self unseeing here is the ancient floor, foot-worn and hollow and thin. Here was the former door where the dead feet walked in. She sat here in her chair, smiling into the fire. He who played there, bowing it higher and higher. Childlike, I danced in a dream. Blessings emblazoned the day. Everything glowed with a gleam. Yet we were looking away. And then I throw it right at the camera, which would not be good. I feel a lot of anger that way. I think it's the whole thing of wanting to throw it at a target is definitely a thing. Then you get working in groups of two, pushing against each other. Pushing can comment on the speaker on the pulling away from the push. So it's interesting. Energy of the word is so clearly experienced in this exercise. The need is actually pressing. The struggle to release the words into space has to be active and thus very tangible. After all these exercises, repeat the text without the physical activity, but retaining the memory of it. There will be a wonderful. So, okay. The self unseeing here is the ancient floor, foot-worn and hollowed and thin. Here was the former door where the dead feet walked in. She sat here in her chair, smiling into the fire. He who stood there, bowing it higher and higher. Childlike, I danced in a dream. Blessings emblazoned that day. Everything glowed with a gleam. Yet we were looking away. Which is interesting because I can really get how it starts off heavy and becomes kind of lighter and lighter, higher and higher. And it's going up to its very lightness, but then it's like, yet we were looking away. It's like we go back to the kind of the tightness, the heaviness yet again of the self unseeing. Like there's a brief moment there of like higher and dream and emblazoned and everything glowed, yet we were looking away. It's like we're still stifled, still back in the thing. So I get that kind of in a very physical sense, and the throwing the ball really got the lighter part of it, and the kind of the crushing the pillow to me, and maybe holding the thing above my head got the kind of the tightness, the wrongness of the parts of the poem. So different physicalities worked at different parts of the poem. There will be wonderful traces of muscularity of language, line and thought, left and even static speaking position. The voice will also sound richer and more varied and centered. You should be feeling the energy inside you as if you've been working out with words. The exertion will make you feel a greater need to release the inner energy outwardly. You will need the words more, and the words will feel absolute. You will need the words more, and the words will feel absolutely necessary. Okay. Okay. But I mean, yeah, I can feel that physicality of doing the kind of physical exercises sort of reminds you of words are coming out of a human being, and that is necessarily a physical act, and really involving the entire body in that and feeling it with your entire body um, makes for a much more rich speaking experience. So yeah, that is the physical release of the text 1. I will end up seeing if I can do physical release of the text 2. I think you have to find different texts. We'll see. We'll see what I do next on that. All right, this has been a vocal video for this week. I finally got it done. Hooray.